From VTV Channel 6 Studios in downtown Vernal, this is Local Point with your host, Chris Piner.
Hey everybody, welcome to Local Point, brought to you by Ashley Regional Medical Center. I'm David Gale, filling in for Chris Piner today. Joining me in the studio, I'm kind of excited, we have Phyllis and Daryl Jones of the Daughters of Utah Pioneers Museum. I know that everybody's seen that museum from the outside at least, because you can't miss it, right across the street from the temple. I've never been inside. I feel terrible because you guys look amazing. Tell me about what's going on here really quick.
Well, actually today we're dressed in clothes that we wore back in Nauvoo when we did our stage performances in Nauvoo, and we served 18 months there on an LDS mission. And as I go to the museum, oftentimes I'll don one of my Nauvoo outfits to be one of the tour guides there at the museum. And our museum is open from Memorial Day through Labor Day, Tuesday through Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it is a wonderful place. It's a hidden treasure in Uinta Basin.
Tell me a little bit about why we're seeing you today, because there's something special about the museum, I understand. There
is. This coming July 24th is the 50th anniversary for the museum here in Vernal. And it will be a fun day after the parade. People are looking for things to do. You go to the scout breakfast, you go to the parade, then what? Come to the museum and help us celebrate.
Now, the Daughters of Utah Pioneers, I mean, this is an organization that's been around for quite some time. I know that I've seen plaques and history sites that often have that Daughters of Utah Pioneers at the bottom, as I don't know if it's the organization that made sure that plaque got put up.
They did.
What exactly is the organization?
In 1901, the organization of Utah Daughters of Pioneers was started, and in 1928, the Uinta Basin chapter of that was started. And the markers, there are about 13 of them in Vernal, and they have brass plates and the information on them. There are 13 of them in our area, and the Daughters of Pioneers have placed each one of those.
And was this organization something that was started as actual daughters of pioneers who came across? I mean, that's where the name comes from?
Yes. You needed heritage of someone who came to the Salt Lake, or actually it's Deseret. So it was Utah, Arizona, parts of Nevada, parts of Idaho, and parts of Colorado. The original Deseret area. It's not just Utah, it's not just Latter-day Saints, it's anyone who came in during that time. And if you have heritage from 1847 to 1869, when that spike was driven, connecting the two areas, the east and west coast, then you can be a daughter of Utah Pioneers. And if you're interested in history and just want to show up to the meetings, you can be an associate and come and learn history and be part of the Daughters of Pioneers.
I imagine, though, that here in the Uinta Basin that there are probably quite a few people who may not even realize that they have that heritage.
There are many ways to find that out. An easy one is to go down to our regional history library at the library and have them check some information for you. You can go to the LDS Church History Library on 5th West and 5th North, and they just put in your name and it will show your ancestors, and that's interesting. Nice. Or you can go to dupinternational.org and put in an ancestor's name, and they have a list of all those that they have tracked so far that let you qualify, and pictures.
You may find,
and histories.
You may find why you look the way you do.
That's right.
You might find your great somebody, and you're like, hey, it looks just like me.
That's right.
That would be fun, wouldn't it be? Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the museum, because again, Daughters of Utah Pioneers been around for a very long time, but the museum 50-year anniversary. So 50 years ago, some of those who have heritage. And I don't know how the funding all works, but we
chicken pot pies.
That's all
how they built the original museum.
Is it really?
They built chicken pot pies and sold them at Ashton Brothers.
No
way.
And
all the daughters made these pies for lunches for months and months and months to be able to provide the money for the museum.
So we've got only about a minute and a half before we go to our break, but if somebody like me, never been to the museum, what kind of things can I expect to experience there?
Well, you come in and the first thing you see is the original tithing office that was in Vernal. And it was moved there in 1960. And it used to be behind what is now Gale's Office Supply. Could be a relative at Gale's office.
Could be David Gale.
Yeah. And it was moved by R.W. Jones on a flatbed truck and moved up to its present location. And then the rest of the museum was added on in additions after that. Dr. Hullinger, who practiced here from 1880s till he died in 1926, we have his medicine chest. It covers a corner of the room, and we have all the vials and bottles and his scales and mortar and pestle of how he mixed medicines. We have an old dental chair. We have ox yokes, side saddles, a metal bathtub that looked like a bathtub instead of the number 3 tub from back in the early 1900s. We have a bedroom set up. We have a kitchen area with the big black wood-burning stoves. We have all kinds of furniture, farm equipment, loom for rug making, part of the old Newton Brothers shoe shop and leather and saddle shop. We have some real treasures.
Yeah, in fact, there's one thing in particular that I want you to hold. You got a story about one item that we want to talk about when we come back, but we got to go to break. So stay with us. We'll be right back to hear more from Phyllis and hopefully from Daryl. I'm going to get him to open his mouth here in a second after these words from our sponsor, Ashley Regional Medical Center. Stay with us.
Hello, I'm Cy Hutt. I'm the CEO at Ashley Regional Medical Center. You know, these days you hear the word quality a lot in advertising, but there's a big difference between talking about quality and practicing it. At Ashley Regional Medical Center, quality means 2 things. First, customer service. We hold ourselves accountable for giving each individual patient a positive healthcare experience. The results? In an inpatient satisfaction survey from the end of 2011, Ashley Regional scored better than 70% of U.S. hospitals. Second, quality is following nationally recognized clinical standards. The leading organization in America for setting and monitoring quality standards is the Joint Commission. In fact, Medicare uses the Joint Commission to ensure that its policies and rules are in effect, to protect patient safety as well as improve treatment results. Ashley Regional Medical Center has been Joint Commission accredited since 1996 and is the only hospital in Northeast Utah accredited by the Joint Commission. So what does this mean to you? When you need hospital care, you can be confident that Ashley Regional is committed to and delivers quality care to you and your loved one.
Welcome back to Local Point. Once again, joining me is Phyllis and Daryl Jones of the Daughters of Utah Pioneers Museum. We're talking about the 50th anniversary of the museum. Coming up, we've got the 24th parade, July 24th, of course. Big to do here. What is the museum, what's its involvement this year?
We're having some entries in the parade. One of them is going to be the old Tithing house that we have at the museum. We're making a replica of that, and R.W. Jones is going to move the replica down the road like they did in 1960 when they moved it to its original location. And we're helping and hoping a lot of people with ancestors that settled the basin will be there. This year our theme for the parade is Pioneers of Uinta Basin. And there are many of us with pioneers that were here. And whether you have one pioneer and you don't have a whole lot of other relatives, put a placard on and wear your timber outfit or your mountain man outfit or your pioneer dress and be in the parade. That's right, be your ancestor. Get a wagon and throw a bunch of your kids on there that are ancestors of grandma and grandpa, whoever that helped settle this area.
Now, if I have an ancestor and I don't know how they dressed back then, could I come to the museum and maybe get some ideas from you guys?
Oh, sure. We have lots of clothes and ideas and things that are there from the early settlers. A lot of donations have been made, and there are just great things to see there.
There should be, we'd been talking about earlier, there should be a lot of people who are watching the parade that could probably be in the parade and not even realize it.
That's right.
So go to the museum and you know, find your ancestors. Also, with the 24th and the 50th anniversary of the museum, I understand that the newspaper, the Vernal Express, is going to be doing something special for you guys.
They are. They're doing an insert for us in a newspaper that will come out before the 24th of July. And it is information on DUP and on ancestors that started this area, on the museum, current camps. We have 9 camps in Uinta County, and it will have pictures of each one of those camps and the members that are currently in them. And it is an opportunity for people who have ancestors to place an ad. There'll be footer ads at the bottom of a page, and they can pay for an ad, and instead of just putting blank trucking, they could say whatever the name of their company is, 3rd generation freight haulers. Grandpa started out with wagons from Dragon or whatever it is, because they had to bring freight in from the Dragon area into Uinta Basin. So a lot of people are getting their advertising juices going, thinking of different ways.
How they're connected historically to the valley and to our ancestors here. The fact that, you know, like you say, a lot of these companies, they started off with different names, but they, you know, have been going for such a long time that they're the result now of what happened from way back.
Well, Tyler Shiner is a doctor here. He's a dentist. And his grandfather was this Dr. Hullinger.
Oh no, the
great-great-grandfather. So he's going to do an ad as doctor to doctor, 3 generations in.
That's cool.
In Vernal.
Yeah, a good opportunity to come up with some neat ideas. Let's talk a little bit more about the museum itself, because you said in the first half when the museum is open, but I don't think I got how much it costs to go.
It is free.
That's good news.
It is free. We do a couple of fundraisers during the year, a bake sale in the spring and one in the fall, and those bring in the funds that pay the utilities and mow the lawn and do the upkeep we need on the building. And if anyone wants to make a donation, they can make a donation to the local chapter of our DUP just at the museum. That helps our costs.
And you're open now?
We're open now, Tuesday through Saturday through September 1st.
Okay, through Labor Day.
And it is 10 to 4 daily, Tuesday through Saturday. Free, come on by.
10 to 4. And that, from what I understand, people who show up, 6 hours may not even be enough.
You need to come back several times to be able to get the full experience. There's a village that a man built that took 25 years. And it is...
Like a miniature scale.
It is as big as this studio area right here.
No way.
And it has probably 40 buildings. The sheriff's office and an old saloon and a hotel and a church and a school and a farmyard, and they're all tiny. Tiny. And it took him 25 years to build.
I'd love to hear a story that you had told me earlier about a family that had come in, generational family, to come look at one specific item.
Right. We had Grandpa and Grandma and their children and grandchildren, and they came to check out a cradle that had been donated to the museum by a Harper Smith family. And it said in the placard that 12 children had been raised in that family and rocked in that cradle, and many of their children, and they took pictures yesterday with great-great-grandchildren rocking the cradle.
Wow. And it's funny because it's just a piece of furniture, but to go and see something that's connected to your ancestor, that was, you know, they may have even built that thing. And I think that your great-grandparents and your grandparents, whoever else, when they were babies, they were in that. I mean, it's incredible, the jewels that I'm sure that people come and go, I had no idea. You know?
We have so many things that people have donated that they walk in and they go, oh my goodness, the other day I was up there dusting a display case and found some shoes that Daryl's father had donated, some beautiful boots back 50 years ago.
Your dad's boots.
No, they were ladies' shoes.
Oh,
that he had. They were lace-up ladies' shoes that he had purchased from his brother in Tridell at a store, and they were brand new, and he had donated them to the museum. So you find treasures all the time.
There you go. Well, thank you guys so much for coming in and for looking so nice doing so, and thank you all for joining us here on Local Point. That's all for now. Please join us here next time on VTV Channel 6. We'll see you.